It's a great question. So when we think about kind of the way that when we look at a lot of the way that companies are approaching these issues, what they're doing is they're taking what I think we kind of see as the old way of looking at it and trying to apply these kind of new revolutionary technologies to the old way of doing it. So an example of that is a lot of people, when they're looking at doing a replenishment, really think about it in terms of, well, obviously we need to start with a forecast. When we think about in retail, forecasting from a really granular level, which is necessary to do any kind of inventory movement within a supply chain, is really difficult, because for the most part, when you're thinking about somebody carrying 5,000 SKUs at 200 locations, the odds that somebody's even going to sell one unit per week is pretty low. And then you get into the fashion space and you start thinking about things that only have 8, 10, 12-week lifespans. And you're trying, the way that people try to approach it is they're trying to throw AI at the forecasting problem. The thing is, that's really very similar to trying to, take a rocket and attach it to a horse and buggy. Like, we're replacing the horse, yeah, you'll get there faster, but it's not really the correct application of the technology.
Interesting.
So with Onebeat, one of the things that AI is really good at is if you can pose the question correctly, if you understand the data structure that you can expect from a retailer, it's really good at coming up with what is the answer to the question that you're really asking, which in this case is, how much inventory do I need to have at a store for a SKU at any given period in time? So rather than trying to, again, do the old way of doing things, we've really looked at it in terms of, once we can come up with the ideal inventory everywhere in your supply chain at any given point in time through that AI process, then we can get to the questions of, how do we optimize movement between nodes in the supply chain? Where do we want to make sure that we're shipping from store, where the increase in labor cost is going to be offset by the benefit in saving a markdown? So it's really a way of, really approaching the supply chain problem, not from let's make the horse and buggy faster, but from a perspective of how do we really, build a car.